Hi, I'm Sarah. Today I'm going to read you the story of Tasha, which is titled like this: My pregnant sister demanded I give her my new car because hers is too cramped for 3 kids. You're single. You don't have kids. I said no. And my whole family called me selfish. Then my car was stolen and I found it at my sister's house. Well, let's go. So, this happened to me a few months ago, and I'm still processing it. I'm Tasha, 29, and I work as a pharmacist at a local drugstore. Nothing fancy, but it pays the bills, and I actually like helping people with their medications. Let me tell you about my family first, because they're important to this mess. My parents live in this small house they've owned forever. Dad's retired now, spends his days watching TV and complaining about everything. Mom works part-time at a grocery store just to keep busy, really. They're not rich, but they get by. Then there's my older sister, Emma. She's 34 and has this whole family thing going on. She's married to this guy, Jake, who works construction when he can find jobs. They have 2 kids, my nephews Tyler, who's 8, and Mason, who's 6. Sweet kids. I love them to pieces. And Emma's pregnant again, 5 months along with their 3rd kid. Here's the thing about Emma and Jake. They're always struggling with money. They rent this tiny house right next to my parents, which is convenient, I guess. Jake's parents help them pay rent sometimes. And honestly, I help out too. I'm always giving them money for the kids' school stuff, sports clubs, whatever they need. Sometimes I even pay their utility bills when things get really tight. The one thing everyone in my family loved making fun of was my car. This beat-up old Honda that I'd been driving for like 8 years. The paint was faded. One of the doors made this horrible squeaking sound. And the AC only worked when it felt like it. When are you going to ditch that piece of junk? Jake would always joke when he saw me pull up. That thing's going to die on you one day, Dad would say, shaking his head. Emma would laugh and say, I can't believe you still drive that embarrassment. But I always told them the same thing. I'm not changing cars until this one completely dies. It still gets me where I need to go. They thought I was being stubborn or cheap. Truth is, I was saving money. I had a decent amount in my savings account because I don't spend much on myself. I live in a small apartment. I don't go out much, and I pack my lunch for work. I was actually proud of my savings. Well, last month my car finally gave up. I was driving home from work when it just started making this awful grinding noise, and then stopped completely. Smoke was coming from under the hood and everything. I called a tow truck and had it taken to my usual mechanic. Sorry, Tasha, he said after looking at it for an hour. This time it's really done. The engine's shot, and it would cost more to fix than the car's worth. So there I was without a car and needing to get to work. I took the bus for a few days while I thought about what to do. I could have told my family right away, but I decided to keep it to myself. I wanted to surprise them. I spent my weekend looking at cars online and visiting dealerships. I wasn't looking for anything fancy, just something reliable that would last me another 8 years. But then I saw this perfect family car on the lot. It was a Honda Pilot, not brand new, but only a couple years old. Lots of space, great safety ratings, perfect for long trips. I kept thinking about my nephews. I pick them up from school sometimes when Emma's working or not feeling good. I take them to their games and practices. This car would be perfect for that. Plus, with the 3rd baby coming, there might be times when I'd need to help transport everyone. The salesman was honest with me about the price. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't crazy expensive either. I ran the numbers in my head and realized I could pay for it outright with my savings. No loan, no monthly payments. The paperwork took forever, but by Friday afternoon, I was driving my new car home. It felt amazing. The seats were comfortable. Everything worked perfectly. And it was mine. All mine. I decided to surprise my family that Saturday. Every weekend, we have dinner at my parents' house. Just a tradition we've kept up over the years. I couldn't wait to see their faces when they saw my new car. Saturday came, and I drove over to my parents' place. Emma and Jake's old beat-up minivan was already parked on the lawn. I parked my new car a few meters away from the house and just sat there for a minute smiling. I grabbed the bottle of wine I brought and headed inside. Time to show them what I'd been up to. I walked into the house, and everyone was already gathering around the dining table. Mom had made her usual Saturday spread, and it smelled incredible. We all sat down and started eating. So, Tasha, Emma said with this smirk on her face, how's that death trap of yours holding up? Actually, I said, unable to keep the smile off my face anymore, my car is completely dead. Engine finally gave up earlier this week. Oh, honey, I'm sorry, Mom said. How are you getting to work? Well, I said, I bought myself a new car. It's parked outside. You could have heard a pin drop. Everyone just stared at me. Emma was already standing up. I want to see it now. Come on, everyone outside. We all went outside to look at my new Honda Pilot. Mom and Dad walked around it slowly, checking it out. Tasha, this is beautiful and so practical, Mom said. Dad nodded approvingly. Good choice, kiddo. This will last you forever. I opened the doors so they could see inside. The kids climbed into the back seats while I showed everyone the features. I was beaming. This was exactly the reaction I'd hoped for. Well, from most of them anyway. Emma was standing there with this weird expression on her face. Not happy, not angry, just strange. It's very nice, she said flatly. Jake opened the trunk. Damn, you could fit a whole family's worth of stuff in here. This is like the perfect family car. Seems like kind of a waste though for someone who doesn't have kids. The comment stung a little, but I shrugged it off. I have 2 nephews and another on the way. Plus, I like having the space. We headed back inside to finish dinner. But Emma was quiet through the rest of the meal. She picked at her food and kept giving me these looks I couldn't figure out. We were almost done eating when Emma suddenly threw her fork down on her plate with a loud clang. You know what, Tasha, she said. You should give me that car. I thought she was joking at first, but the look on her face stopped me cold. Emma, what are you talking about? Think about it. You don't have a family. You don't have kids. You make decent money and you'll be able to get another car. But we really need this car. Our minivan is falling apart and it's way too small for 3 kids. With a new baby coming in 4 months, we're going to be cramped. Your car is perfect for a family our size. I looked around the table. Jake was nodding along. My parents were actually considering this insane idea. Emma, I'm not giving you my car. I just bought it yesterday. But it makes sense. You're being selfish. How am I being selfish for wanting to keep the car I just bought with my own money? Because you don't need it like we do. If you need a new car so badly, then sell your old one and get a loan like everyone else does. Emma's eyes filled with tears. I can't believe you're being like this. We're your family, and I help you guys all the time. I'm constantly giving you money for the kids, paying your bills, paying for their sports clubs, so don't call me selfish. That's different, Mom said quietly. This would really help Emma and Jake. Emma has a point. She does need it more than you do. And you're single, Dad added. You can afford to get another one. I felt like I was in some alternate reality. My entire family was telling me I should give away my brand new car to my sister because she had kids and I didn't. I stood up from the table. I can't believe you guys. I came here excited to show you something I worked hard to afford, and instead you want to take it away from me. Tasha, sit down, Dad said. Let's talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. The answer is no. I grabbed my purse and left. I got in my car and drove home, my hands shaking on the steering wheel. When I got home, I barely had time to change out of my nice clothes when my phone started ringing. It was Mom, then Dad, then Emma. I didn't answer any of them. I knew exactly what they wanted, to keep pressuring me about the car. The calls kept coming all evening. When I didn't pick up, they started texting me. Tasha, please reconsider. Emma really needs this car, Mom. You're hurting your pregnant sister. Think about what's best for the family, Dad. I can't believe you're being so cruel to me when I'm carrying your niece or nephew, Emma. Message after message kept coming. They were all saying the same things. That I should help my sister, that she was pregnant and shouldn't be stressed, that I was being selfish and heartless. I read every single one, but didn't respond. This went on for 2 whole weeks. They were relentless. Every day brought more calls that I ignored and more guilt trip messages about family loyalty and Emma's pregnancy. They kept saying I should think about what was best for everyone, that Emma shouldn't be upset while pregnant, that I was being cruel and selfish. They even got my Aunt Linda involved. She called me one evening during the 2nd week. Tasha, honey, she said in that sweet voice, I heard about your situation with Emma. Don't you think you should help your sister out? She's having such a hard time with the pregnancy and Jake's work situation. Aunt Linda, I'm not giving my car to anyone. I bought it with my own money and I'm keeping it. But sweetie, she's family and she's pregnant. You know how important family is. The answer is no. I'm not changing my mind. I hung up on her. Even my extended family was getting dragged into this mess. But I knew I was right. I'd worked hard, saved my money, and bought something I needed and wanted. The fact that my sister had kids didn't mean she was entitled to take things from me. I'd been supporting them financially for years, and this was how they repaid me. After 2 weeks of constant harassment, I was exhausted, but still standing firm. I wasn't going to give them my car no matter how much they called, texted, or guilt-tripped me. I'd made the right decision, and I knew it. Then something amazing happened. My college friend Sarah called me. She was getting married and wanted me to come to her wedding. Sarah lived on the other side of the country in California, and I hadn't seen her in almost 2 years. Please say you can make it, she said when she called. It's going to be this small ceremony, but I really want you there. You were my roommate for 3 years. You have to be at my wedding. I was actually excited about this. A few days away from home, away from my family's constant pressure, sounded perfect. Plus, I really wanted to be there for Sarah's big day. I booked my flight for Thursday evening and planned to come back Sunday night. It would be a quick trip, but worth it. I'd park my car in the lot next to my apartment building like I always did when I traveled. Thursday came, and I packed a small bag with a nice dress for the wedding and some casual clothes. I was looking forward to getting away from everything. My phone had finally stopped ringing constantly, though I still got the occasional guilt trip text from Mom or Emma. I parked my car in my usual spot in the lot, grabbed my bag, and took a taxi to the airport. The flight was smooth, and Sarah picked me up when I landed. It was so good to see her again. The next few days were exactly what I needed. Sarah's wedding was beautiful, small, and intimate with just close family and friends. She looked radiant, and her fiancé, Mark, seemed like a really good guy. I got to catch up with a few other college friends who were there, and for the first time in weeks, I wasn't thinking about my family drama. We spent Saturday afternoon at the beach, had the wedding ceremony that evening, and then partied until late at the reception. Sunday, we all had brunch together before people started heading home. The flight home was peaceful. I felt refreshed and ready to deal with whatever my family threw at me next. Maybe the time away had given them a chance to cool down and realize how ridiculous they were being. I landed Sunday night around 10 p.m. and took a taxi back to my apartment building. When we pulled into the parking lot, I immediately looked for my car in its usual spot. It wasn't there. Can you drive around the lot once? I asked the taxi driver. I'm looking for my car. We drove slowly through the entire parking area. My Honda Pilot was nowhere to be seen. My heart started racing. Someone had stolen my car. My brand new car that I'd had for less than 3 weeks. I paid the taxi driver and went upstairs to my apartment, my mind spinning. I needed to call the police right away and report the theft, but then I remembered the security cameras. Maybe I should check those first to see what happened. I went back downstairs and knocked on Mr. Peterson's door. He was the building owner and lived in the first-floor apartment. Tasha, what's wrong? He asked when he saw my face. My car is missing from the parking lot. Can we check the security camera footage? Of course, come in. Mr. Peterson had the camera system set up on his computer. We fast-forwarded through the footage from the past few days until we found Friday morning around 9 a.m. What I saw on that screen made my blood run cold. There was my car in the parking lot. And there was Jake, Emma's husband, walking up to it with something in his hand. He did something to the door. I couldn't see exactly what, but somehow he got it open. The car alarm should have gone off, but it didn't. Then he got in the car and drove away. I asked Mr. Peterson to copy the video clip to my phone. He helped me transfer it. And then I just sat there for a minute, trying to process what I had just seen. My own family had stolen my car, not just taken it, stolen it. They'd somehow disabled the alarm, broken into it, and driven it away while I was across the country. And they'd done it thinking I wouldn't find out or wouldn't do anything about it. I was beyond angry. I was furious. This wasn't just about the car anymore. They'd crossed a line that I never thought they would cross. You should call the police, Mr. Peterson said gently. Not yet, I said. I want to see if the car is where I think it is first. I called a taxi and gave the driver Emma and Jake's address. During the ride, I kept replaying the video in my mind. How had they gotten into my car? How had they disabled the alarm? When we pulled up to their rental house, I saw it immediately. My Honda Pilot was parked right there in their driveway, bold as you please. They hadn't even tried to hide it. I stared at it through the taxi window, my hands shaking with rage. They'd actually done it. They'd stolen my car and just parked it at their house like it belonged to them. I walked up to their front door and started pounding on it with my fist. I was so angry I could barely see straight. Jake opened the door with Emma right behind him. When they saw me, Jake actually smiled. Hey, Tasha, he said casually, like nothing had happened. I pointed at my car in their driveway. What the hell is my car doing here? Emma stepped forward with this smug look on her face. Well, if you hadn't been so stubborn, we wouldn't have had to take matters into our own hands. Take matters into your own hands? You stole my car. We didn't steal anything, Jake said. We just took what you should have given us in the first place. How did you even get into it? I demanded. Emma smiled. Remember those spare keys to your apartment that you gave Mom and Dad a few years ago? Just in case of emergencies. Well, this was an emergency. We went to your apartment while you were gone and got your car keys. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. They hadn't just stolen my car. They'd broken into my apartment to do it. Give me my keys back right now, I said. And get away from my car. Emma laughed. I don't think so. This is our car now. You can go buy yourself another one. This is theft, I said. I'm calling the police. Go ahead, Emma said. We'll tell them you promised us the car and then changed your mind. Who do you think they'll believe, a single woman or a pregnant mother with 2 kids? She slammed the door in my face. I stood there staring at the closed door, shaking with rage and disbelief. They thought they could just steal from me and get away with it. They thought I'd be too afraid of causing family drama to do anything about it. They were wrong. I called another taxi and went straight to the police station. I was done playing games with my family. They wanted to treat me like a criminal. Fine. Let's see how they liked dealing with actual criminals. At the police station, I explained the situation to the officer at the front desk. He took me to a detective who listened to my whole story. So, your brother-in-law took your car without permission? Detective Martinez asked. Yes, I have video proof of him stealing it from my parking lot. I showed him the security footage on my phone. And where is the vehicle now? Parked at their house. I just came from there. They refused to give it back. Detective Martinez nodded. We'll need you to fill out a theft report. Do you have proof of ownership? I pulled out my registration and insurance papers. I bought it 3 weeks ago. It's registered in my name. All right, we'll send officers to retrieve the vehicle and bring in your brother-in-law for questioning. I filled out all the paperwork and gave them Emma and Jake's address. The detective said they'd call me once they had my car and had spoken to Jake. The next day, Detective Martinez called me. We have your vehicle at the station. Your brother-in-law has been arrested for auto theft. We also brought in your sister for questioning since she admitted to being involved. Can I come get my car? Yes, but there's a situation here you should know about. Your family is here, and they want to speak with you. When I walked into the police station, it was chaos. Emma was sitting in a chair, crying loudly. My parents were pacing around, both of them red in the face. When they saw me, they rushed over. Tasha, Mom grabbed my arm. You have to drop these charges right now. How could you do this to your own family? Dad demanded. Emma looked up at me with mascara running down her face. You're a monster. You're trying to destroy my family. I'm getting my stolen car back, I said calmly. He's going to jail because of you, Emma screamed. My children's father could go to prison. He went to jail because he stole my car, I replied. Mom started crying too. Please, Tasha. Think about the children. Think about Emma's pregnancy. You can't let Jake go to prison over a car. It's not just a car, Mom. It's my property that he stole. But your family, Dad shouted. Family doesn't send family to jail. Family doesn't steal from family either, I shot back. Detective Martinez came over. Miss Tasha, we need to know if you want to proceed with the charges. I looked at my family. Emma was still sobbing. My parents were staring at me like I was some kind of criminal. None of them seemed to understand that what Jake did was actually illegal. "You know what?" I said. "I'll drop the charges, but only under one condition. You all leave me alone completely. I want nothing to do with any of you ever again." "Tasha, don't be dramatic," Mom said. "I'm not being dramatic. I'm done. You stole from me, broke into my apartment, and then acted like I was the bad guy for being upset about it. I'm cutting all ties with you." "You can't mean that," Dad said. "I absolutely mean it. I'll drop the charges against Jake, but in return, you never contact me again. No calls, no texts, no showing up at my apartment. We're done." I turned to Detective Martinez. "I'll drop the charges." He nodded and went to handle the paperwork. Jake was released a few hours later, though they kept him for a couple extra days for resisting arrest when they tried to take him in. I got my car back and drove home. That night, I blocked all their phone numbers. I blocked them on Facebook, Instagram, every social media platform I could think of. I wanted them completely out of my life. The next few months were actually peaceful. No constant phone calls asking for money. No guilt trips about not helping enough. No drama. I could just live my life without worrying about what crisis my sister would have next. About 5 months later, my Aunt Linda called me from a different number that wasn't blocked. "Tasha, honey," she said, "I have news about Emma. She had the baby, a little girl. Your parents wanted me to tell you that you have a new niece." "Okay," I said flatly. "Don't you want to know her name or see pictures?" "No, Linda." "Tasha, don't you think this has gone on long enough? It's been 5 months. Maybe it's time to forgive and forget." "Forgive and forget?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "They stole my car, Linda. They broke into my apartment. They treated me like garbage and then expected me to just take it." "But they're your family." "No, they're not. They stopped being my family the day they decided my sister's wants were more important than my rights." "You're really going to throw away your whole family over a car?" "I didn't throw them away. They threw me away when they chose to steal from me rather than respect my decision." "What about the children?" "Tyler and Mason miss their aunt. And now there's a new baby who will never know you." That one hurt a little. I did miss my nephews, but I couldn't have a relationship with them without having one with their parents. "That's not my choice, Linda. That's Emma and Jake's choice. They're the ones who decided stealing was more important than family. Your parents are getting older, Tasha. What if something happens to them? Then I guess I'll read about it in the obituaries." I could hear Linda crying now. "How can you be so cold?" "I'm not cold. I'm just done being a doormat. I spent years giving them money, helping them out, being there for them whenever they needed something. And the one time I bought something for myself, they tried to take it away from me. Then when I wouldn't give it up, they stole it. But you got the car back." "It's not about the car. It's about the fact that they thought so little of me that they believed they could just take whatever they wanted from me, and I'd be too weak to do anything about it." Linda was quiet for a moment. "So, this is really it. You're never speaking to them again." "That's up to them. They know where I live. They know where I work. If they want to apologize for what they did and make things right, they can try. But I'm not reaching out to them." After I hung up on Linda, I sat in my apartment thinking about everything that had happened. Did I feel bad about not having a relationship with my family sometimes? Did I miss my nephews? Absolutely. But I didn't regret standing up for myself. For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't constantly worried about money because I wasn't always giving it away. I wasn't stressed about family drama because there was no family to have drama with. I'd learned something important about myself during this whole mess. I'd learned that I was stronger than I thought. I'd learned that I didn't have to accept being treated badly just because we shared DNA. My family thought they could steamroll me because I'd always been the helpful one, the one who gave them money and bailed them out of problems. They thought I'd rather give up my car than cause trouble. They were wrong about me. And now they had to live with the consequences of their choices, just like I had to live with mine.